Harvard-educated lawyer has seen quite a fall in the last few years. Considered the legal architect of the plan to use fake electors to steal the election, Chesebro now faces 100 hours of community service, 5 years probation, a $5,000 fine. And perhaps most importantly, he will testify against the other co-defendants, including Donald Trump, and provide a written apology to the people of Georgia. Chesebro's deal came one day after another Trump co-defendant and election denier, Sidney Powell, also pled guilty. Joining me now, Neal Katyal, former acting Solicitor General of the United States and MSNBC legal analyst. Neal, thank you very much for coming to the Saturday show again. Your reaction to Chesebro's plea deal?
I mean, the whole set of events, Jonathan, shows us just how good Fani Willis is. I mean, she was built for the country. Fani Willis is the prosecutor in this case, and she was billed to us as a master of RICO, a master of conspiracy law. And she's really showing it here with these two pleas. She's basically saying, look, I've got my eyes on the bigger prize. It's the conviction of the man who orchestrated all of this, not just the people who worked for him. And, you know, to me, what's most significant about both of these deals is they are no jail deals. So one, Sidney Powell pleads guilty to some misdemeanors, Chesebro to a felony, but neither of them are serving jail. The only reason you would ever agree to that as a prosecutor is if they're providing evidence against higher ups. And so here, I suspect this is incredibly bad news for Donald Trump, and not news, Jonathan, that he can spin by saying, oh, this is a bunch of left-wing radicals or whatever. These are his hand-picked MAGA, Kraken, whack job lawyers.
Yeah, as Kimberly Atkins said, I think it was on Twitter or Threads, you know, she called it cheese and Kraken, but I'll leave the jokes for later. Katie Phang, in the last hour, talked to Chesebro's attorney. Listen to what he had to say, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
While Mr. Chesebro did take responsibility for conspiracy to commit filing of false documents, I want to make something clear. He did not implicate anyone else. He implicated himself in that particular charge. And while he is required to go testify, the state's going to have to decide at some point whether they think Mr. Chesebro's testimony will help them.
Neal, I'm just hearing that. What's he doing in that answer? He's saying a whole lot of stuff, but saying nothing at the same time. Am I hearing that right?
Basically correct. He's talking out of both sides of his mouth. So Chesebro has said, look, I did it. I'm the architect of this false elector plot, or one of the architects, and I conspired with others. And the plea that the count he's pleading guilty to is a count of conspiring with Giuliani and Trump and other people. It's count 15 in the indictment. But he's also saying, his lawyer is now saying, well, he's not directly implicating Trump or anything like that. I don't think that matters. I think the prosecutors need Chesebro to basically just show that this kind of whole advice of counsel defense that Trump was just following the view of his lawyers is bogus. I mean, we've all known it's bogus, but to hear it from the horse's mouth makes the Georgia prosecution against Donald Trump all that much stronger.
So then, would Chesebro's testimony be able to be used by special counsel Jack Smith in the federal election interference case against Trump?
Yes, it will. So, and my guess is that both Chesebro and Powell tried to negotiate global deals and resolve both the federal and state charges. Jack Smith said no, probably because he wants to secure felony and jail time convictions against people who tried to, after all, overthrow an election and launch a coup. So, you know, it can understand Jack Smith's perspective that even if you're providing evidence, that's not enough after you did what you did. But obviously, Fani Willis has taken a different position. I think both are understandable here, and both prosecutions will move forward. And so you've got Powell and Chesebro pleading guilty in no jail time things, but Jack Smith is fully capable of bringing indictments against both of them and seeking jail time.
If my memory serves, there are, in the Georgia case, 19 defendants. That's including Donald Trump. 3 of the 19 have already made deals. Should we expect to see more?
100%, Jonathan. I think that's one of the most important points about the conspiracy doctrine. I wrote a whole 100-page article in the Yale Law Journal about it. And one of the points I made is that just empirically, if you look at statistics in conspiracy cases, once some people start to flip, more flippers will follow. So it's a question of when, not if. And that, again, is further things that Donald Trump has to be worried about. You already got 2 of his key lawyers now pleading guilty and providing evidence. And by the way, Jonathan, Sidney Powell, as part of the deal, videotaped testimony earlier this week for the prosecutors, and then agreed not to talk about it with anyone, the media, with attorneys, with the other defendants and the like. So my guess is this is pretty significant stuff.
Ooh, Neal, I missed that. I didn't know about the video testimony already this week from Sidney Powell. That's
Lordy, there are tapes. Lordy,
exactly.
There are tapes.
Lordy, there are tapes. Neal Katyal, as always, thank you very much for coming to the Saturday show. And up next, a long-awaited special